My name is Cans. This is the definition that the world has for me. This is me now, still on a mission for a million, still grinding to be the best through the process of progress. This is where the process started, you know what I mean? My homeboy B-Dubs from Stone Crooks told me I should start writing down the raps I was saying in the freestyle sessions we was having. You know what I mean? I was keeping up with them, and they been doing it. You know what I mean? So I asked him for some beats, and in a couple of months I had a 90-minute tape. And I had another one, and another one. I was sitting in the house by myself, hitting the record button over and over again. And then I pushed them to people around the way. Got to the point where they was asking me when the next one was coming. Then the whole game changed up, you know what I mean? Me and my uncle got together, started a label, then I dropped my first album, My Life on Paper. We dropped a 3-song CD that had a double feature of a song called Candlelight Freak Show, featuring Billy Badass. That song got us most of our buzz in the street. It got us airplay on the radio, you know what I mean? We showing love to our city and getting love back at that time, you know what I mean? We was doing everything that they said we couldn't do, because at the time there wasn't no in the street artists on the radio. Cuidado was grinding. We was in and out of town, pushing the CDs. We had our own studio, you know what I mean? But then, along the line, there was differences in the crew. And we went from this to this. And then it was just me. I was solo all over again. But I learned off what we did, and I started TCP. TCP always stood for Tree City Partners, even though it was just me. So when people was, I was out there grinding the streets, people would see me out there promoting TCP, they'd be like, yo, who's down with your team? They're like, it's just me. You know what I mean? Had my boy Hits down, but he was a silent partner because he ain't do shit. But I left the S on the end because I knew we would have a team in a minute. When I was done building the foundation and the name up, that's when BI before BS became the motto. The first TCP product that hit the streets was Soundtrack to the City. Soundtrack to the City was the first time in a few years anybody would hear me without a crew. I had to show them I could still hold my own, stand on my own 2 feet. After the first 1,000 hit the street, the feedback was crazy. By the time I got 7,000 copies in 845, I was already done recording Mission for a Million Part 1. I wanted to make Mission for a Million a launch pad for my mixtape brand. So I went into the promotion even harder. We had posters. We was out everywhere with flyers. We had mixtape covers and all that on the t-shirts.
The new 4-letter word spell out the best. Yeah, chillin' in the cut. I'm chillin' with your bitch, nigga, filling up a depth. Say with me now. C-A-S. The new yo. You don't got no competition when you got the top position. Scriptures out on bitten, nigga, haters stop and listen. Instead of average, I never wrote a line of average. No but navigator, pen specialist, is savage. We inside the optimal, breathing through the obstacles. Sleep is optional for you to end up in the hospital. Grind and I get it in. On my job for dividends. Still cancel now and then my million took out many number 2. And then after proof, you need to recruit. The one-man army, I am the truth. Salute, get shot at an angle of 2. Bullets 10 times 2, trying to make it your proof. I write exceptional rhymes, you write acceptable lines. How you expect to shine around the thousand my life. I'm in it for the long haul. What else would I go for? I'm about to make and my heart again. It's in the car with all kids. Chilling in the cut. But chilling with your bitch. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me now. C-A-S. The new 4-letter. I need y'all say that with us. All kids. Chilling in the cut. But chilling with your bitch, nigga. Filling up a dust. Stay with me now. C-A-S.
Part 1 was getting love in Connecticut, Jersey, Philly. I was sending them to everybody I knew up and down the East Coast. I even drove to a few spots to make sure it got there. When I heard somebody say it was a street classic though, I had to start recording Mission for a Million Part 2. Lyrically, I wanted to step it up and switch it up. After 8,000 copies of Mission 4 Million Part 1, I dropped Mission 4 Million Part 2. I made Part 2 longer than Part 1 to show people I could still hold it down even if I'm given more work to do. It's nothing, it's what I do. Started doing more shows, doing shows around my city, Connecticut. My internet buzz was reaching the UK, Italy, and Germany. I was sending my CDs to addresses I couldn't even understand. Mission 4 Million Part 2 had a few hood hits on it according to the streets. But the one that definitely stood out and got my numbers up was 845.
He took off the show. What's your motherfucking area code, man? 845. What? 845 in the town, man. 845, we hustling. Yeah, we hustling. It's that we good, you know what it is. 845, nigga. 845. Peace skill, nigga. This shit. Upstate, nigga, Albany, let's go. Everybody, let's go, baby. 845, we hustle, man. 845, we hustle, man. 845, we hustle, man. 845, we hustle, man. We hustle, man. We hustle, man. Real hard, real hard. Motherfucker, pound ain't playing around. And I'll say, when I'm laying down, I'll be this stuff I was laying around. You think I'm that king where it's from? If you think you is, take that shit in. Take a backseat, should be a thing over there. I'ma run this shit. I wanna do a nigga. Y'all niggas is broke out and for more. Take it up like a jet, you got me moving and slow. I'm still a record, niggas on the block now. I'm on the ground, bullshit need to stop for a real nigga. Run up and clean your block like 845 be hustling. 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 Real hard. Real hard. 845 be hustling. 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 Real hard. Real hard. Like my lips to your shit. Should be on the top of that list of your friends.
On My Grind was another one, you know what I mean, that pushed the point home that we wasn't gonna settle for that old radio playing. We took a street hit and got it on the radio. Also shot a video to it. My man Jesus off my own.
I can't go home till all of it's gone. And I look up in the sky daily, homie, I know that I'm wrong. But I keep on pushing, persistent at what I do. Hustling, keep it moving, we moving without a crew. Don't fuck with them. Them corny niggas around, y'all. Niggas will be your downfall. Be the first to stitch when the police come to surround y'all. New money, different colors, look like Puerto Rican change. Off the scene in the morning with corner niggas speaking slang. I'm moving and I'm putting in fucking work for what it's worth. I made a sale while I'm spitting this verse. Yeah. Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. I'm up every day thinking brand new ways. I'm getting paid while you sit in the shade. There's meals to be made. Money stay on my mind like a head full of braids. Got mad CDs and the cans, white tees, and I can't go home till all of them's gone. So many boo-boo rappers sign this shit have been play my song. But I keep on moving, it's nothing. They can't help it that the A&R's their cousin and the DJ is their brother. And the dude that got him the covers pulling they stepmother. Yeah, right. I'm sure you would've made it one way or the other.
Now we all going crazy in the street. We got a video, you know what I mean? A lot of people starting to recognize us off the CD covers. Me and Kurt Crazy, you know what I mean? We linking up, doing things, hitting the streets with the CDs hard. And because everybody was expecting Part 3 right after Part 2, I felt it necessary to build up anticipation in between the Mission 4 Million set. Like I said, building up that anticipation, I had to drop a double album because nobody on the East Coast, signed or unsigned, had a double album. What y'all know about that?
Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. I'm up every day thinking brand new ways and getting paid while you sit in the shade. There's meals to be made. Money stay on my mind like a head full of braids. Got mad CDs and the cans, white tees, and I can't go home till all of them's gone. So many boo-boo rappers signed that shit have been play my song. But I keep on moving, it's nothing. They can't help it that the A&R's their cousin and the DJ is their brother. And the dude that got him the covers blown and they step him up with, yeah, right. I'm sure you would've made it one way or the other. Who you kidding? Do this rap shit like I'm bidding. My notebook is my prison. Every verse that gets out is a letter home that I've written. So prolific, so poetic, spit lyrics that's empathetic. Suit and tie at the award and still tell nigga to set it. You don't want no drama with me. Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. Look, nigga, I'm on my grind. We get money all day, legal or illegal, man, we take it all ways. Hand in hand, gram to gram, it's the hustlers, trade till hustlers pay. Got the greenest pot in the CD box, and I can't go home till all of it's gone. I'm on my grind, ask somebody, this is not just a song. I'm in the streets, but nowhere near you mistresses. I'm on a mission, bitch.
I had to drop a double album. Ain't nobody around my way did that yet. I went in on the promotion. The song On My Grind was a double feature. It was on Mission 4 Million Part 2, and it was on the Peter Perfect project. Peter Perfect was a producer from around the way. You know what I mean? We linked up, came up with this idea to do it all to his beats. We hit the streets. We even had a private invite party, you know what I mean, at the producer's house. The Peter Perfect project was a good look for the TCP catalog. I pushed the double album 5,000 times. But printing 100, you really had to make 200. But it went overseas. It went up and down the Midwest, down south. Everywhere I got an address from on MySpace, I sent the package. I was still pushing Mission 4 Million Part 2. At the same time, that was pushed 9,000 times hard in the streets. And 845 and On My Grind had a lot to do with that. After the Peter Perfect project, I had to go back to the Mission 4 Million catalog. And that's when I dropped Mission 4 Million Part 3. It was received heavy in the street. Part 3 had features, and I showed love to people from my area, across the water. I did a lot of features that, you know what I mean, like with producers that people wasn't used to hearing me with. A few people from different camps are in the credits. And I had to show love around the way, you know what I mean? Like, of course I had to show love to Poughkeepsie artists, people I've known forever and just run into frequently on the mic. That's how I do. Check the credits on that one too. See a lot of artists from around the way. Mission 4 Million Part 3 was going in the streets around the same time that the Peter Perfect project started to die down. So that just kept the buzz going. If you check Mission 4 Million Part 3 credits, there are a couple songs produced by a producer named Ninth Wonder, who I'm sure needs no mention. After I did a couple of his beats, I heard a whole CD, like a whole CD of his songs, like a whole CD of his beats, you know what I mean? And I was just like, I need to do something to, like a whole CD of these. Like I need that same effect that whole CD had on me, I need to hit the streets with that effect. So I picked the beats that I like. And I started to go in. I was in my notebook, getting ready for my next release. You know what I mean? Doing interviews to amp up the Ninth Wonder. Still pushing Mission 4 Million Part 3. Being that it had songs from the Ninth Wonder on it, it was like double promotion once again. Since I was a fan of Ninth Wonders, it was real easy to do my thing on his beats. Everybody was anticipating the Ninth Wonder mixtape. You know what I mean? I called it a mixtape album because I touched subjects that a mixtape usually don't touch. Like I always do though. I find a way to leave a piece of me on a CD. So, once again, we on a promotional level with it. And courtesy of A&T TV, we even got a drop from Ninth Wonder, co-signing the mixtape. So that was a lot of love.
Mainstream left, you know what I'm saying? So this is for you, my man Cans. I was sitting in this seat right here, looking in that booth when I recorded Threat. You know what I'm saying? This is Ninth Wonder, Baseline Studios, 845 Poughkeepsie, Cans, get it right here. So I'm trying to channel the magic from the seat I got when I recorded Threat. Okay, I'll holler. Peace to you, Cans. All right.
And the streets, once again, received it well. Like I said before, I always try to leave anticipation in between the Mission for a Million set. So, when it was time to come back, after the Ninth Wonder, which was, like, you know, picked up by more fans that I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? More that album touched a lot of people that I didn't know was listening to my kind of music. So I felt like I had to bounce back and go hit up hip hop once again. So the anticipation in between Mission for a Million Part 4, being that it was the Ninth Wonder building up the anticipation, was perfect. So now we got the Ninth Wonder in the street. Shit is in the street 7,000 times. So it's time for Mission for a Million Part 4. Mission Part 4, you know, I went in, picked a couple old school beats to show them, I mean, that real hip hop vibe I want to bring to Mission for a Million Part 4, and we pulled it off nicely, if I might say so myself. TCP, we pulled that shit off nicely. You know what I mean? Like, we doing Mission for a Million Part 4, we recording that. At the same time, I get a whole lot of J Dilla beats, another producer that I'm a fan of. So I'm like, fuck it. I done dropped the album, all Ninth Wonder beats, dropped the double album, you know what I mean? Something else somebody else didn't do, like something somebody didn't do around my way in New York, up and down the East Coast. So I said, fuck it. Instead of dropping a double album, I'm gonna take all these Dilla beats, record an album of them, and drop the Dilla and the Mission for a Million Part 4 at the same time. That's what I did. Streets wasn't ready for two mixtapes at the same time. That had nothing to do with it. It's like, it wasn't like a part 2 to the part 1. These is two different mixtapes, y'all. You see my grind? You see what I'm about? Now, you know, you might know my old boy D. Johns. If you've been paying attention, you supposed to know. Now, while I'm grinding with the part 4 and the Dilla, which are getting love in the street at the same time, every time I press one, I press the other. We going in, we going in, we going in. You know what I mean? Me and D. John sit down and do in like a week and a half. A week and a half. It would take a rapper to do like 8-9 months. It take a regular rapper to do like 8-9 months. Not even a regular rapper, a rapper waiting on his crown. So now we got part 4 in the streets. We got the Dilla in the streets. They running neck and neck all day, every day. And why not? We drop another TCP classic, the Real Poughkeepsie tapes. We drop that at the same time as I'm pushing these. I'm trying to show y'all, like, the grind is gonna be referred to as impeccable in a minute.
Blacksmith Beats, yeah. TCP. 1 week they down with my clique, rocking the shirt wrong. Next week they in another clique, doing the church song. They riding out with anybody, long as they don't pay. The rappers only good at burning bridges down both ways. You ain't got a career, you was starting in the red. On the streets it would appear that I'm the only rapper here. I be grinding, putting time in while you nickel-in and diming. I be stacking up the cash, go and kick it on the island. Keep it moving, I'm improving while you little critters losing. While I'm moving and I'm doing everything that you're pursuing. And there ain't no coming back here to get a new position, unless you're ready to carry bags and get chickens. Half a man, half a stand, and he still gon' be a fan. He lying if he don't say, hands me what I am. TCP upstate, yo, it's two of the greats. You are tuned in to the Real Poughkeepsie tapes. This is how they jump, click to click. Don't matter who it is, they can't keep a grip. This rapper's fake, this rapper sings. This rapper's the worst cause he does everything. This is how they jump, click to click. Don't matter who it is, they can't keep a grip. This rapper's fake, this rapper sings. This rapper's the worst cause he does everything.
Like, through the process of progress. You know, you do work. If you get love for the work you do, it's satisfying. In the end, that's all it's about. Cause I don't care if 15 people show up. I'm gonna rock that show like it's 30,000 people in the building. I'm gonna play at every hole in the wall you can think of in the 845 in upstate New York and New York. Midwest, down south, holes in the wall. I don't care if you're playing. But around my way, when you rock the Civic Center, you doing your thing. And me and my team, you know what I mean? My team, we finally got to do that.
Smoke a blunt, take a minute and flashback.
Buddy, how many you got left?
Couple hundred, nigga.
I ain't forget, nigga. I ain't. I hope not. Oh, we are passing the Upstate Music Alliance.
Process of progress is a long, hard road, you know what I mean? But I feel like we ready for anything that come our way. On the way up, this is where it landed us. RPS, Real Poughkeepsie Soldier. This is what it is right now. You're not even ready for where this album's about to take it. This album is more me, more hip-hop, more musical than anything I've done. Just like my mixtapes hit the streets. You know what I mean? Do our numbers in the streets. Just like we take it from the streets and go out to like spread our music across the world. Like the streets ain't but so big, we want the world. So this is what we're trying to do. This is where my process of progress really starts. You thought you was watching the process of progress. See this cover right here? RPS? This is where it starts with me. Everything else, something sort of like a test. Stick with me.
I'm a real Poughkeepsie soldier, son, RPS. I walk around this bitch talking shit without a vest. I'm a real Poughkeepsie soldier, son, RPS. I walk around this bitch talking shit without a vest. Born and raised in the city of trees, the Eastman Peas help create a beast set free to eat on the streets. I'm a real Poughkeepsie soldier, general of my clique. Homie, you a doja, your minimals to ride dick. Eat, sleep, shit on the strip. This is my shit. Niggas got scripts full of bits. I spit with eyelids, so real, I bleed through the pen. Right from my eyelids, I'm conscious without a conscious rapper spit nonsense. Explicit stickers thrown on my picture cause of my content. Sicker than them, that city slicker and spitting vomit. Oh man, I spit crack without the